Hi there, I'm Heather, and this is episode 6 of Wear Your Damn Knits. Today we'll be talking about my Anker summer shirt, which I have on. This is a top-down circular yoke, short-sleeved sweater made for a DK weight yarn. I made this in Knit Picks Cotton, which is 70% cotton, 30% linen. As you can see, I've added stripes. So we're going to stand up and show you all the way down. So my stripe pattern, I did some different widths down at the bottom. I'm starting to get a little lower on yarn and wanted to include more colors. I used 7 colors of the cotton. And then I had one random 50-gram skein of a cotton blend in red in my stash that I just added some red at the bottom there too. This was actually my second time knitting this pattern. It's a great pattern, super easy to follow. I like how the ribbing up here gives it some visual interest. One of the few customizations I made on this sweater or this top is I did add a knit row in between the ribs for the different colors, just so I didn't get those purl bumps. And then I might have added 1 or 2 inches in length. It does hit me. I'm going to stand up again. So my hip bone is right here. So it hits me right at my hip bone, which is where I like things to hit. Yeah, it's just a great little top. I like Petite Knit patterns. I think she does a great job. They're very classic. They're well written. They usually have at least, something that's a little bit interesting. Not necessarily challenging, but that's not always what I'm looking for in my knitting. One of the things I run into with Petite Knit patterns is I've got a 41-inch bust, and her patterns, the large is usually like 37.5 to 39.5, and then the extra large would be 39.25 to 43.25. So I find that the large is maybe a little snugger than I want, but then the XL is usually a little bigger than I maybe would be ideal, but not enough to worry about. It's totally fine. I'm pretty flexible on how things fit. I like to have things, some things in my closet that are a little slouchier and some that are a little more fitted. So it works for me, but that is one thing that I find is I'm usually pretty much a large, but in Petite Knit patterns, I usually do knit the extra large. I really like it. I get a lot of compliments on it. I will say, if you're looking at knitting the Anker summer shirt in a stripe like I did, be aware the beginning of the row marker is actually center back. I didn't change anything. I didn't do a dogless stripe. I didn't move the beginning of round marker. But if that would bother you to have that little jog right in the middle of your back, you might want to consider doing that. I actually kind of like that it's there. That way I always know which side is the front and the back without thinking. It tells you how much awareness I have first thing in the morning when I'm getting dressed. But that is something that I have seen in comments and in other people's projects, especially when they did stripes, that they did move that beginning of round marker. Okay, let's look at the Anker summer shirt 3 different ways. First one is the everyday classic. Everyday classic is things that I would wear, every day. So think jeans, casual shoes, some fun accessories. Here I've actually paired my Anker summer shirt with a mixed media dress from the Gap. So this is a tank dress, and then I just threw the sweater on, or the top on, over it. It's been really warm in Minnesota this week. So I think today our high was only 84. Earlier this week, it was actually up in the 90s with pretty high humidity. So we dove straight into that warm weather. So I like the idea of having kind of more of a cool dress, but being able to wear Madame Knits with it. This is actually what I wore to work today, and I just threw on a pair of clogs. So here I have, again, that it's an olive green mixed media tank dress from the Gap, and then I have some olive suede clogs from, it's the Birkenstock brand Papilio. These are some of the most comfortable shoes you will ever wear in your entire life if you are a clog girl like I am. I also have some turquoise accessories and a stack of turquoise and green stretch bracelets on my wrist. Add a little bit of interest. One of the things I really like about this sweater is did a mixed up rainbow, right? So I bought almost 8 different colors of the Kotlin. You'll notice I said I used 7 colors. And that is because my naughty little floofy cat Rex, I'm going to put a little picture right here, had run off with the orange. I could not find the orange and found it in my daughter's room. I don't know how long after I actually finished knitting the sweater because it was under her bed. So I had wanted to do a mixed up rainbow anyway, just so it's not, hello, this is my rainbow sweater. But then especially when I didn't have the orange, I didn't want to do like a rainbow just without orange. So I mixed it up. I get a lot of compliments on it. So either other people are just being nice or they actually do like it. Next, we're going to look at the elevated workday. Now, this is a little more polished with third pieces, trousers or skirts, and some professional elements. Here I'm wearing that Anker summer shirt with a pair of black wide leg pants from Halara. If you are not familiar with Halara pants, I recommend you become familiar with them because they are amazing. The material feels like athleisure wear, but they look polished like trousers you can wear to work. They are fantastic. They don't wrinkle. They're comfortable for all day. I love them. Anyway, so black Halara pants. I also have on a pair of pointed toe slingbacks, black with a little bit of silver trim. These are by Bandolino. And then just a black work bag, a work tote. If you are one who likes to have a long sleeved layer, I don't care if my tattoos show that is a no-no in some workplaces. I'm getting to that age where I don't always want to have an extra layer on, but you could very easily put on a cardigan or an oversized blazer or even like a ponte blazer that you could add that third piece if you need that for some reason. This is absolutely something that I would wear to work, especially during the summer. Finally, the wild card is an unexpected look, at least for me. For today's wild card, I have paired my Anker summer shirt with a red circle skirt I got from Amazon, a pair of turquoise pumps with some fun ankle thing going on. These are by Joe's Jeans. And then I've also got those accessories from before, the turquoise necklace and earrings, and then that stack of stretch bracelets. I'm adding a bright pink and orange clutch to add just another pop of color, and I am ready to go on a date or even brunch with friends, right? Something just a little bit different, but also fun. I don't know. I like this outfit. I would wear this. I don't know that I would have put these together before this podcast, which is why I'm doing this podcast, right? That's what makes it fun, is doing things differently. So let's talk about finishes. I actually started and finished a project since we talked last, and that is the Sabai top. I'm going to grab this right here. You'll notice I like stripes, okay? I just do. There's a story here. Isn't there always a story? So I started out with these yarns. So this is Seta silk in 3 different colors. There's this pearl gray, this dark blue, and then this yellow. And I started by making the basic, hold on, I got it here. The number 997 basic shell by Diane Sushi. It was a pattern my mother-in-law had given me. Is a very traditional tank with some ribbing at the top and the sleeves. And it is bottom up, and then you knit it all the way. I even did the picking up stitches and the 2 rounds that you do for your neckline. 2 rounds, picking up all of the neckline stitches just to do 2 rounds. You'll notice I have a problem with this. And I just stalled. Right? I did it last summer, and then I thought, well, I'm not going to wear it again till, it gets warm again. And I picked it up this spring to then do picking up the stitches on the arms and adding those 2 rounds of trim. And I just said, you know what? I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do it. So I ripped the entire thing out because I don't like picking up stitches. And I don't like picking up stitches. This Seta silk is fantastic, but it is 50% cotton, 30% silk, and 20% nylon. So it is not a stretchy yarn. It is not the most easy to use yarn. can be, like many natural or many non-wool fibers, can be a little splitty, I have found, and it definitely is. So I then said, all right, what am I going to make that doesn't require picking up stitches, but still gives me that sort of tank look? So the sub-eye top is a tried and true. Everybody loves it. And I know why, because it's a great pattern. So I started over and I made the sub-eye top. I decided with starting over that I was going to do thinner stripes. So I did a couple rows of, it's two rows of each, 2 rows of navy, 2 rows of yellow, 2 rows of gray, 2 rows of yellow, and all the way down. I had read in the projects that many people felt like the armhole was a little big. I did not experience that. I actually feel like the armhole is perfect for me. I don't know if I just got lucky. Again, I have a 41-inch bust, so I think on this one I did make the extra large. Yeah, it fits really nicely. I'll stand up and you can see it's a little bit, just a tiny bit shorter than my Anker's, probably when I put it on, like more like here. But it's super cute and super easy pattern and no picking up stitches. I would recommend that sub-eye top. And I like the Cetasilk. I do think Cetasilk might be discontinued, but any sort of, natural fiber like this, I think that was a great way to go. It is, again, kind of that DK weight. So yeah, it was great. Talk works in progress. Since we last talked, I haven't done a heck of a lot on my rear view window by Casapinka. It tells you how long it's been that I don't even remember the name of the pattern, but this is the pattern. It's this really cute sweater, and it's fun because you knit it cuff, body, cuff, and then you sew up the seams. I am on the body, making some good progress, but like I mentioned, it's, jumping into the 80s and even up to the 90s here in Minnesota. So knitting a mohair blend sweater, mohair wool sweater is not, high on my list right now, but you can get an idea what this is going to look like. And it's really cool. So this is the front. We have the sleeve. We have the front. We have this cute stitch pattern right here, and then we have this little window, which is why it's called the rear view window. There's one in the front and there's one in the back. A funny story on this, my mother-in-law and I were looking at this and I was like, it was just breaking my brain. I'm like, I don't understand how this is working. It's not making any sense. Okay, here's why. Now notice when I hold this up, I held it like this because you knit sleeve and then you knit the body top to bottom. Well, I was pulling it this way and thinking that in my brain, right, that this is side to side. And my mother-in-law and I are both looking at this. We're both knitters. She's been knitting for way longer than maybe I've even been alive, but we're looking at this. We're like, this isn't centered. I don't understand. How does this work? Thinking that this is the horizontal part, not the vertical part. So I ripped out and started over from about here because it just didn't make any sense at all. Actually, I think I might have even started over like all the way back here. Finally wrapped my head around it. I think I needed to have a little more knitting done to be able to say, oh my gosh, yes, that's how that goes, right? Here's the neckline. Here's that pattern. Here's the bottom. Okay, got it. So I was laughing at us because we were both, smart women, good knitters, and totally lost. So this is on hold right now, but I am making it in Knit Picks Aloft. That's the mohair. It's a wool mohair silk blend. Yeah, mohair silk blend. And the color is, I don't have glasses on, so iceberg. And then this is actually Knit Picks Brava, Knit Picks Palette. It's a fingering weight wool yarn in some color, turquoisey color. I don't know. Can't read it. So that is the rear view window sweater by Casapinka. I have knit several Casapinka patterns now. I've knit at least I think this is my second sweater, and then I've knit multiple shawls of hers. I think she's a great pattern writer. She's a little, her styles are fun, a little different, maybe a little quirky, but I really like them. So that is that. That's number one. It's kind of on hold, but I have made progress since we last talked. Put you down here. Next, we have, this is my little travel project. So, you know, when you need that mindless project to take with you, this is my tried and true Pearl Soho classic ribbed hat. I can't even tell you how many of these I've made. And I am making it in the same yarns that I used for my no frills sweater by Petite Knit. And that is this knitted wit. We can work with that as the colorway. Held double with Knit Picks Aloft in Tarragon. I have some leftovers. I have a lot of leftovers. I'd originally planned to, with that knitted wit yarn, I'd originally planned to hold it two together and make a DK weight top or sweater. And I decided instead to hold it single or hold it double with the mohair instead. So now I have like an extra 3 skeins of this knitted wit plus extra of the tarragon. So I'm making my daughter a hat. She calls this the Venus flytrap colorway. So it's just a little hat for Bella. And that one is, that's just easy on the go, 1x1 rib all the way around until you hit decreases. The other new cast on or work in progress is the Moonset Tee by Ozetta. And I uncharacteristically am knitting it in the color that is shown. So I'm knitting this in white 100% silk yarn. So this is the back of the sweater you start with. And just moving around, adding that in. This yarn that I have, I got it online, and it was kind of a bulk purchase of this basically undyed silk. And I have a whole bunch of it, and I'm just going to be playing with it. So there could be some color variation in here. We aren't going to stress out about it. If I need to alternate skeins, I will. In the future, I think, I mean, I have a lot of this yarn. I have a feeling I'll be holding this double with especially like a fingering weight wool, just to get some, I like to hold things double. I know, I'm sure you've noticed that. I like that marled effect. I like to get a little bit different, I don't know, just sort of different textures and just start playing with different things. So this is my first Ozetta pattern. I have seen, you know, people love her patterns. She's got really interesting details. You have to pick up stitches for the sleeves, but I can do it. But I'm excited to do, it's a basic, you know, top-down sweater that I've done many times, but it's going to be doing things differently, right? And that's kind of what we're here for, is to try new things and to do things differently. Okay, so that is works in progress. I've probably done a tiny bit on my Poca Poca hat. It's next to my bed, so sometimes I might do a little bit. The Poca Poca hat is a double layered hat, much along the lines of the Musselburgh. It is in a fingering weight, and you do the first, you know, first hat in a fingering weight, just wool, and then the second part of the hat is in a mohair. So it's a fun way to do color contrast and to get some different things, as well as use some of these, you know, if you've got partial skeins of mohair from doing sweaters where you held double, you could make mohair stripes in this hat. And that is by Sachiko, easy for me to say, and Kiyomi Bergen, from their book Moon and Turtle. That's the Poca Poca hat. And it's a pattern I love. I think that'll be one of my often have on the needles. That and that Pearl Soho ribbed hat, that classic ribbed hat, are probably my two go-to hat patterns. I find the classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho is maybe a little better for travel knitting, and here's why. Because it's DK weight, and my eyes are getting a little old, but I can knit a DK knit one, purl one rib without throwing on reading glasses. Cheaters, there is no way I can knit with straight mohair on a size 3 needle without putting on cheaters. And sometimes you just don't have them. So that is why I would probably use the classic ribbed hat more as my travel project, even though I love the Poca Poca hat. The other project I have been endeavoring to finish is the Caramel Cardigan by Isabel Kramer. This is one of her free patterns. I did not choose it because it was free. I chose it because, as I crinkle my papers, I have loved this pattern forever, since I first got on Ravelry, because it's got this amazing crossover neckline and it just looks so slouchy and cozy, and it's striped, and y'all know I love a stripe. So this is when I started knitting for myself. Got all of this done, right? The whole thing. I'm on to the sleeve, and I kept saying, okay, I've told you the story before, but in case some of you are new, I kept saying, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to work. This looks really narrow right here. But I kept plugging because I love this. Look at this. This is so cool. It is a cool pattern. It's great yarns. I even did, she kind of had the same colors, this kind of ginger and navy in the pattern picture. Super slouchy, cool cardigan in this like fun tweedy yarn. I finally listened to myself and tried it on. And of course, what did I know? This arm depth is not enough. Look at these shoulders. Okay, these are broad shoulders. So it went in timeout. I had a few moments, but I'm giving this to my mother-in-law, so I'm finishing it for her because she has tiny little bird bones and very, very narrow shoulders, and she will love this. And the colors are perfect for her. We have very similar coloring, so she's going to look gorgeous in it. And this is the large. She does not need a large, but you know, it's not fitted. It's very slouchy. I think it'll work very nicely, even if she just wears it as a house sweater. I would be happy because look at how cute that is. How stinking cute is that? And then this fun sleeve where you do the stripes and then you stop. So I am plugging away on the second sleeve. I really would like to get this done and out of my face, out of my space, and over to the person who's going to enjoy it. Gotta admit, I don't love knitting on these tiny circs, what are these 9-inch circulars? But I hate double pointed needles more. I get ladders with double pointed needles. I get like one ladder and it'll go around like that. So I knit with these. They're not the easiest on my hands. So I do like a couple of stripes and then I have to put it down. But I will finish this and I will give it to my mother-in-law and she will be happy. And I still like Isabel Kramer. I've knit other things by her, but I'll still be mad about it. I'll be a little salty about this one forever. That's works in progress. That I'm really excited about the Moonset tee. I really have to admit that. I really would like to get that done so I can wear it. I'm going to a knitting retreat in June, and the Yarniacs podcast. Hey, Yarniacs. And that is just, it is sit and knit. We do not do classes or anything. We just sit and knit. And it's so awesome. I went last year and it was like the most relaxing weekend. I would love to have this tee done. It gives me right about a month to do it. It is possible. We'll just have to see. With silk, I don't know how hard that is going to be on my hands. In the beginning, there's also a lot of purling, which could bother. I'm a mess, right? The silk hurts my hands. The purling hurts my tennis elbow. But it does. Like, this is reality. So I, have to be careful about the purling. But once you get, past the armholes, I think it's all stockinette in the round. So that'll go really fast. Other exciting news, July 1st, I'm getting my knee replaced. So not so thrilled about that, but I do think there's going to be a lot of knitting time in my future this summer. I'll just be a lot more limited and trying to look on that as an opportunity to slow down and do some more knitting and take care of myself, take care of my body. But I'm excited to, kind of look at doing some additional like summer type items. I know I could jump into, something and have it ready for fall, but I just like the idea of maybe trying to do one more summer sweater, summer top. So if you've got ideas, let me know. I've got patterns. I just haven't decided what I want to do yet. Maybe it would be hold something double with some of this silk and get that going on. Maybe it's something totally different. I don't know. Anyway, it's a little bit of a random convo today. There you go. It's been an unusual day. I'll just say that. And I'm grateful you all are here and that I'm able to talk about my knitting. It's kind of fun. So thanks for joining me for episode 6 of Wear Your Damn Knits. Like, share, subscribe. Give me your comments, right? Tell me how you like to wear your damn knits. Ask questions. Love that too. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Keep on knitting, and I'll see you soon. Bye.